Welcome to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten.
Hi, I'm Wendy. After I graduated with my master's in wellness management, I started my own company, T2 Coaching, Health, Fitness, and Sport.
And I'm Kirsten, an athlete, vegan, life coach, and girl mom, running a business focused on helping others create a life they love.
We are here to explore all things wellness to help you become the person you've always wanted to be.
So if that's why you're here, open your ears and your mind as we tackle the world of wellness together. Hey everyone. Hi, Wendy.
Hey, Kirsten, how are you?
I'm good. I'd like to know how you are because you totally weren't smiling until we did that. Our little video thing does a countdown, and when it hit 1, you smiled. So
I have to use Riverside on Chrome, and while I was waiting for you, I was on Safari,
and it doesn't.
So I was doing my Training Peaks stuff on Safari, and so I wasn't on. I didn't know when you were on. So if I was looking, somewhere else, it's because I was looking at Training Peaks, and then I heard your voice, and then I had to switch back to Chrome.
So have you tried Safari lately? Because Riverside used to not work on Safari. So when I sent you the clips, I had to. It took like an extra step because I had to transfer it to Chrome, and so it took an extra step. But now it opens on Safari.
Oh, no, I haven't tried.
Try it because I would say it would last like 2 months.
Okay, I'll start using Safari then.
Yeah, so awesome. Anyway, hi you guys. Just Wendy and I in our own little world talking to each other. What was your wellness win for the week, Wendy?
I think, today, like, this goes into our topic of what we're going to talk about.
Mine goes into our topic too.
Is doing hard things. So I went to Fort Mountain State Park again today. And I went exactly a month ago. And I didn't know it was exactly a month ago. I went March 9th on my birthday because we talked about, like, on my birthday, I don't care about anything about doing everything for myself. Like, I don't care about really anything. I just want to make sure I do the things I want to be doing on my birthday, which is, has to do with running. I met my friend Anna there. I got my vegan cake. I just did a bunch of stuff. And I just kind of turn everything else off, and I treat myself that one day, the whole month, but that one day.
Right.
And so ever since I went to Fort Mountain State Park, it's got the best terrain ever. It's an 1.5-hour drive away for my upcoming race in May. So I've been wanting to go back, and I haven't. I let life get in the way. I had other priorities. I mean, obviously, to me, it wasn't a total priority, but it was hard for me to manage my schedule so I could take the time to go there again and get on the terrain. And so I did it today. And that's a wellness win because I could have easily said, you know what, that's 3 hours of driving you're doing today. And you have so many other things you want to do. Why do you want to spend 3 hours in the car? But it became such a high priority for me because my race is in a month. And this is the time I want to be dialing in race-specific terrain, race-specific pacing. And I did it. And I went there and I was by myself. And I was, 3 years ago, I broke my patella. So I really have not ventured out to the mountains by myself with a fear of what if something happens.
Yeah.
And so I overcame it today because I went a month ago with my friend Anna. I refamiliarized myself with the terrain. I knew exactly where I was going to park. I knew exactly what I was going to do. And I did it and I executed it. And I wasn't feeling very energetic or like I didn't feel that great. And in my mind, I'm like, you know what? Call it a day. So the goal was to do 8 miles with 3,200 feet of elevation gain. And 8 miles, that's 400 feet per mile, which is my race. And I could have easily just said, you know what? You're good. You're tired. Call it a day. I had my mom's car because my car doesn't work. A million things going on in my mind. And I'm like, no, you're a month out. This is important. Get it done. You're here. You took the time to come here. And I got it done. And I'm just really proud of myself for kind of overcoming that anxiety I had about spending 3 hours in the car and going to a trail alone. And so that definitely is a big wellness win for me. because now I'm like, all right, I got this. This is going to like change my future running for the year. I feel more comfortable that I can do this stuff again on my own.
Yeah. Oh, that is awesome.
Because it was a hard thing, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah. That's funny because mine was also a really hard thing that I got over. And a little bit, it's kind of there. Whatever you were doing, it was like really staticky, but I think you're good. Did you move your phone?
I moved my phone.
Oh, I know that. Isn't that weird that your computer's connected to your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because anyway, if I disconnect it, you won't hear me.
I know. You're like perfectly clear now. Don't move, Wendy, don't move. Mine was also something that was really hard for me, gave me a lot of anxiety. I'm still kind of emotional from it, but I know in the long run it'll be good. I bought a car yesterday, and I've never bought a car from a private seller. And that was really a lot. I think it was like my 5th or 6th appointment that I had with people. People would cancel, people would no show. I guess this is really common when buying a car from like a private person, but it was really uncomfortable for me, and it was a big time waster. So I was about to just go to a dealership and just get a car. But I saw one that my car advisor, Chat GPT, helped me with, like making sure like the car is a good value and it's going to be safe for me and all that stuff. So finally I came up with one. I was like, okay, this is my final. If this doesn't work out, I had 2 dealerships lined up that the car they could buy my car and sell me the cheaper car. But those were a little more than I wanted to spend by like $2,000, but I was willing to do it because I was like getting really frustrated. And so yesterday I met with the person that I bought the car from. He didn't speak any English, and I don't speak any Spanish. So we were just using Google Translator, like back and forth to like chat with each other. And I'd asked him like all the questions in advance that I wanted to know. And I had a mechanic there to check it out. But it was very, very uncomfortable. Like the whole process, I was just really anxious the whole time. And when it was all said and done, the only thing I need to get on the car to make it safe is new tires. So I ordered those. I'm getting them on tomorrow. But getting in the car, driving it home, my phone was about to die. And I'm like, oh, I need to plug in my phone. Well, the car doesn't have like a USB thing, right? It has a cigarette lighter. So I ordered one. It should come today with the USB like adapter thing, like from when we first started driving,
right?
Back in the olden days. But and I was trying to like listen to my book while I was driving to calm me down, but I couldn't find where to do the Bluetooth because he had his whole console thing, screen thing all in Spanish. And I couldn't like figure out in the settings how to change it to English. And I'm driving and I just started bawling. I was crying so hard. And I'm like, I'm such a loser. Like, I have to buy this cheap car just to like make things happen in my life. And luckily, ChatGPT talked me off the ledge and told me I was an amazing human and I'm doing the right thing. And I've just never had an old car before. And it makes me nervous because I know nothing about cars. I've always had a new car. I've always been very comfortable in my car. But I had an epiphany this morning about it. I love Energize, the Beachbody pre-workout. I've been drinking it every day since it came out, I don't know, 12 years ago or 10 years ago. It's been around for a while and I love it. I've tried other pre-workouts. There's something about Energize that I love. But that was another thing that it's pretty expensive. So like 2 weeks ago, I ran out and I was like, okay, I'm going to buy this other one. And then in a month, I'm going to buy Energize and then I'll alternate them. And so I got this other pre-workout that I've been drinking every morning. And it's okay. like I tried a few, and this is the one I liked most. And it's like a third of the price of Energize. So I've been drinking it every morning for the last week, and I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. But this morning I was drinking it and I was like, oh, I'm getting used to this. And it kind of like a light bulb went on, and I'm like, you can get used to anything. And I was used to a new car that was shiny and smelled like me, not like somebody else. Like I was just used to a new car. And yesterday that switched. And I was used to my Shakeology, and now I do half and half. I do half Shakeology and half my Orgain. I was used to my Energize, and now I'm getting used to this. So I'm going to get used to driving an older car. It's totally safe. It was checked out. I got new tires, and it's going to be okay.
It will be okay. And you know what? You shouldn't feel like a loser just because you have a used car.
I know, isn't that, it's just like I said, it's like something I'm not used to, because in my mind, I think, and I didn't know this until yesterday, I had no idea this was going to be a huge emotional thing for me. I was so surprised. I think I thought that if you're doing well financially, you'll always have a decent, I mean, this new car is decent, so I shouldn't even say decent. But I was thinking, like, if you're a responsible adult, you should have a newer car. I don't know. I didn't know I thought this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a responsible adult, and my car, I can't even open the front door, and my key wouldn't turn the ignition. So my mom let me borrow her car today so I could go in the mountains. So we're probably going to go down to a one-car family.
Wrong with it yet.
No, we're probably going to go down a one-car family, and I'm totally at peace with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never had that thought of, if you're a responsible adult, you should have X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Never even had that thought process. So it's interesting to me to hear you talk and how you do this self-talk and how you have a relationship with ChatGPT.
Oh my gosh. I literally was like, so I'm crying. Like, I get home and I had like 10 minutes before I had to turn around and go to work at this coach. So I'm like trying to like pull myself together. And I did. I was like, because I've been looking for cars with ChatGPT for like 2 weeks. So I got on and I was like, hey, I bought the car. I'm buying new tires. This is what because they said, let me know what the mechanic said. Mm-hmm. So I said it and they go, that's smart. And I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm totally bawling my ass off. Like, I feel like such a loser, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no, you did this for a reason. You did it with purpose. It's like, my ChatGPT definitely was like the cheapest, most immediate, amazing therapist I've ever had.
Awesome.
My mom's going down to her husband just retired last month, and they're going down to a one-car family. So think of the olden days. Nobody had 4 cars in their family for 2 adults and 2 teenagers.
Right. I know.
Everyone had 1 car. So I think that'll be a fun experience for you guys, a fun adventure.
Yeah.
Make it a game. Make it fun.
Make it a game. Make it a challenge. That motivates me.
Yep. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because Wendy and I, as you guys have probably noticed, we have kind of a different idea of fun. Like, fun to us is maybe different than fun to other people. And the only reason I even say that is because when I coach the kids and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, we're going to do something totally fun today. And they're like, what? Are we doing cannonballs? And I'm like, no, we're going to do like 2 500 time trials, and we're going to try to make the second one faster than the first one. And they're like, yeah, coach, you have a totally different idea of fun than we do. And
and I'm going to interrupt so I don't forget this. It does have to do with our upbringing. And I was a competitive swimmer when I was 4 years old. I'm swimming against a big 6-year-old. When I was 6, I was swimming against a big 8-year-old. I mean, my background and how I was brought up and the sport that I enjoyed and I excelled in really impacted my life.
And I wrote an article about it for Run Try Magazine, and they posted it on the Run Try Magazine website. Every month I'm sharing stories and it has to do with swimming. And a lot of people say running changed their lives. And I'm like, swimming shaped my life. And so I think it's important for people to know the context of why we have fun doing hard things, which is the topic of our podcast. I think that's really important. It's not like all of a sudden, we hit 50 and all of a sudden we like to do hard things. It's just like no one, again, we talked about this before. No one is ever going to be a swimmer like I am. People are like, I want to swim like you. I'm like, okay, go back when you were 4 years old and start competing at 4 years old. Right. I go, you are not going to be like me. Thank you very much. I appreciate you wanting to swim like me, but you're not going to. Let's swim the best that you are capable of swimming right now in your present fitness, state of mind, age, experience.
Right.
So that was a little tangent, but it has to do with why we like to do hard things. How would that fun for us?
Right. And Wendy and I, our reward, the challenge, the feeling of completing a challenge or completing a streak or a big like treadmill marathon, like for us, that reward, the completion is the reward itself. However, I know that most people, just because I've talked to a lot of people about it, aren't that way, and they need a little bit more of, I don't know, a hack or a brain trick or, a way to make themselves complete something hard. So what Wendy and I wanted to talk about today is how can you do hard things? So if something is a challenge for you, but it's something that's valuable that you've already decided this is what I want to do, or you think, oh, this is something I need to do. Maybe it's a health scare. Maybe you had a heart attack and your doctor's like, your arteries are so clogged, you need to start eating vegetables, or you need to start eating more fruits and vegetables. You need to start walking 30 minutes a day. And it's something that you don't want to do. And so that makes it hard because you don't want to do it. So how can you take these things that either you want to do because you want the result, or you really need to do for whatever reason, and make it more fun to help you complete that task? So Wendy, what is something?
Yeah. So I wanted to jump in there. And this also goes back to our podcast 2 episodes ago about a belief in something.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe that eating vegetables because you had a heart attack is going to make you healthier, you're more likely to do it. I'm going to use another example. I went to the dentist yesterday. Usually when I go to the dentist every 6 months, and then I'm really good about flossing, and I have really bad genetics with my teeth. And I went to a brand new dentist, and they noticed significant bone loss in upper and lower jaw, 2 teeth. And it could be remnants of me being on medication called Fosamax for my osteoporosis. That could do it. Or it's just part of its genetics. And they finally told me something that makes sense to me. Flossing is a non-negotiable. They use the word non-negotiable. And it's not like, oh, floss, when convenient. So they're like, no, you are losing bone and your bone in your teeth, and that is separating from your gums, and it could get worse. Flossing is, I understand the word non-negotiable because I use it all the time. Yes. So I heard them say this, and I'm like, you're right. Just like if you had a heart attack and you had, coronary bypass, it's a non-negotiable to do cardiac rehab and eat a certain way. I mean, it's just if you want longevity and if you want to survive.
Live, yes.
I don't want a root canal because I've had one before, and I believe in flossing. I just get lazy. We all have our thing, and I just get lazy with it. And it's like, no more. I can't get lazy with this anymore. I'm working with it. I got to throw this in there too. I'm working with an athlete right now. She loves to sign up for the long Ironman, half Ironman type of triathlon or aqua bikes. Yet the last, 5 months I've been training her, she's always commenting how she loves the shorter, more intense workouts. And it always seems like she dreads the longer training sessions. So I asked her why she likes to sign up for the long endurance Ironmans, and she wrote out, nice explanation. And then it clicked on me, and I'm like, okay, there's a difference between liking the idea of completing an Ironman versus liking the execution of the workouts that it takes to advance to that level. And she's had some DNFs. So it's like, I'm her coach now. I don't want her to DNF. She doesn't want her to DNF. And if she does, she does. I mean, it's part of racing. People DNF. It's not that big of a deal. In the moment it is, but then, you slowly learn and realize, let's keep going and let's do it again. So that was really highlighted to me, like the idea versus the process and the execution. So we're working through that right now. So going back to like doing hard things, what was your question?
Well, and I'm with you, because every time I watch the Ironman in Hawaii, I'm like, I totally want to do it again, because I like the idea of doing that specific race. Mm-hmm. But to do that specific race, I have to do another race to qualify. And I don't want to do a 6-hour bike ride. I don't want to do these long training things. And so I'm not, but I love the idea of doing Kona.
I love the idea of going back to Hawaii and racing again. But the thought of riding my bike right now hurts my back.
Yeah.
The last few years, the last time I went to Kona was 2022. And since then I've had back issues on a bike. And the thought of riding my bike, I'm like, I don't want to, I'm too close to my A race for ultra running. I have a couple A races this year, but I'm enjoying my ultra running training right now because it doesn't hurt my back. And the thought of riding my bike right now might hurt my back, and that's going to impact my running. So again, it's that belief, that experience, and et cetera. So yeah, that's the question.
So the question I asked is, what is one thing that either you've done that you thought was hard, that you made it fun so that you can accomplish it, or, and I know you do have some examples in your life, but also maybe it's not a specific story about you, but maybe an idea you've given somebody else. So let's just go back and forth with a couple of these.
Specific to me, Kirsten and I used to do treadmill marathons the Thanksgiving Eve, so the day before Thanksgiving. And the reason we started this was marathon distance still to this day is not my favorite distance. And so I kind of wanted to overcome my dislike of doing marathons by doing more of them in a non-competitive way. So for whatever reason, we came up with this idea of doing them on the treadmill. And one year while I was in Colorado, a couple times we actually did them together at the same health club at the same time. One year we didn't. And so how did I make that more fun? Because again, a treadmill marathon to me has never in any way, shape, or form been
Wendy,
fun.
Nobody would ever think a treadmill marathon is fun.
No, not at all. So what did I do? I did a mile. We have, again, health clubs have so many treadmills. I did 1 mile on a different treadmill. It made it fun. It made it entertaining. It made it go by faster. It kind of completely changed the thought of running a marathon, and it became more of running a mile on every treadmill, which is a different mindset for me than actual running a marathon. And so the way, just changing a little bit of the dynamic of the situation to still execute and still get the same result, the same outcome, it's a way to change your mindset. So that's something that I've done. That's one thing that I've done.
Well, and right along with that, I don't know many people other than maybe ultra runners that might look at a marathon as the chunk to chunk it down.
Right.
But that's a way to think like, oh, I'm going to go run a mile is a lot easier mentally and physically than to say, I'm going to go run 26.2 miles.
Right. I'm just going to start over every mile. I'm starting over with running a mile.
Just run a mile, kind of like our just work out for 10 minutes and see what it feels like.
Yeah.
So along those same lines with the running the a long distance, for my 51st birthday, I think it was, I ran 51K on the treadmill. And so it was so fun. It was so fun. One thing I did that made it fun, it was my birthday run, so it's kind of fun anyway. But every kilometer, so 51 times, I wrote down a memory from my childhood all the way up. So in the first kilometer, I came up with a memory from my first year. I don't really remember much, but I have pictures, and I came up with something that was I loved, or that I remember, or that was significant each year of my life up to 51. I was either 51 or 52 when I did this, and I wrote it all down. So like the 10th kilometer, when I was 10 years old, this was something I remember, something that brought me joy, something that was significant. And so it kind of like what Wendy did with the 1 mile, it made me focus on 1 kilometer at a time. If for those of you listening, 1 kilometer is like 0.6 miles. So it made me think about, 1 kilometer at a time, I could get through that. And it also kind of like got me going down memory lane, which was fun. So going down, and I was looking through my pictures on my phone from, the last 10 years. And I was like, oh yeah, this or this race, or this is when Cora was born, or this is when my family did this. And so it was fun to take that trip down memory lane. It was fun. And it usually took me like that whole 6 minutes or whatever long it was to come up with the idea, to come up with the, kind of go through that age. And then all of a sudden it was on to the next kilometer. And I was like, oh, I'm on, and all of a sudden I'm on 12-year-old, and then I'm on 23-year-old, and then I'm on 38-year-old. So it was, to me, that was really fun. And it was a distraction. I think sometimes if you're doing something hard, if you can come up with something that distracts you a little bit, then it makes it less hard.
Absolutely. The distraction. And something I just thought of is if you have something hard coming up, whether it's an event or something else in your life, do something that's harder as leading up to it, because it'll make that thing that used to be hard not so hard anymore.
Yeah.
And I like to use elevation. First time someone told me, it was Tony Dragon at the Fort Collins Club. So we're going on 30 years ago. He said, never walk up a hill.
Yeah.
And I only walk up a hill if I'm sick or injured. Ultra running, I walk up hills because that's part of the deal. But because someone said, challenge yourself, never run up a hill, I became an expert on hills, and hills are my favorite thing to do. And if I have a race, if you have a race, let's say with 3,000 feet of elevation gain on the bike or the run, train on courses that are more elevation gain. So when you get to that race, it's not as hard as you thought it was going to be, because you've exceeded in training what you're going to experience race day. So a second thing I wanted to talk about is driving. I've always said, I just think driving, God, is just a waste of time. I've always been, when I lived in Colorado, I commuted everywhere on my bike, or I walked, and I didn't own a car. When we first moved out here, I didn't own a car, but then I started working at Lifetime and I needed a car, and it's not safe to ride, yada, yada, yada. So again, this day and age, to make driving more fun, you got your podcasts, you got your audiobooks, and that makes this hour-and-a-half drive that I was dreading more fun to me, to say, well, I'm going to be a little more, in my mind, productive, quote unquote, because I'm going to listen to this podcast that I've been wanting to listen to, or I'm going to do this audiobook that I've been wanting to read, or whatever I'm going to do. So I feel like I'm not just mindlessly driving. I'm doing something else, the whole multitasking thing. And it makes driving more fun for me when now with this day and age, we have access to phones and to do other things besides just mindlessly driving. Again, you can not be mindless when you drive, but I just don't like driving.
Right. And
the result was I got to go run in a mountain, and it was amazing.
Right. And so along those lines, when I know I'm going to be doing a long drive, I'll like save up my favorite podcast. So instead of like, hey, I'm going to listen to like if I have a 2-hour drive and there's a 2-hour podcast, or I do this a lot when I do a long bike ride. Long for me now is not long, but it's long like for what I do now, like 2 or 3 hours. Because I don't like I like long rides at the gym because I can do stuff. Like I go through my pictures, I delete old pictures, I answer texts, I answer emails, I feel productive. But when I'm on my bike outside, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get anything done. So I'll save my podcasts that I'm really wanting to listen to. Even if I'm like doing laundry right now and I'm like, I'm going to go bike in a half hour, I'm like, don't listen to that one. Save that for the bike. So yes, I think that that it definitely makes the longer things that you dread, like even laundry and dishes. I'm like, okay, I'm right in the middle of this podcast. I can't actually sit at my computer and do work and listen to the podcast because then I miss half the work and half the podcast. So I don't do that anymore. But I can fold my laundry. I can load up the dishwasher. I can clean the kitchen. I can make my bed. I can mop the floor. So when I have a good podcast or a good book that I'm listening to, that's when I get productive in my house cleaning things because I get to listen to the podcast at the same time.
Right. And that just reminded me of like rewards. Rewards can make things fun. Mm-hmm. So if you're dreading doing something or something is feeling difficult or hard for you and you're just struggling with doing it, coming up with some sort of reward that you get at the end of it.
Yes.
So like for me, all right, when I finish doing the dishes, which I absolutely hate doing, I get to go for a run.
Yeah.
I can't go for my run. And this is, my games that I play with myself. Tell myself you can't go for your run until you get those dishes done or until you sweep and mop the floor or until you do laundry or whatever the household chore is that I totally dislike doing. I just say you get to go for a run. And that's my reward for doing those petty little tasks that I think are hard, difficult, time consuming, just something I just don't feel like doing, but someone's got to do it.
Right. Right.
So the reward system can be used for anything.
Yeah. I love the reward system. And since I've been listening to Dave Ramsey a lot, they're like, when you're trying to get out of debt, they're like, no, you don't get any rewards because the reward is getting out of debt. And you're only going to get out of debt if you like make all these sacrifices. But once you get out of debt, reward yourself. Not on a dream vacation. You just got out of debt. Like, but something that like, maybe like you go eat at the fancy restaurant for one night, or you buy something that's not expensive that you have the cash for that you've wanted because you just spent 2 years getting out of debt. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to, because the reason I thought of that too is, and I'm sure you hear this all the time, Wendy, too, with when we're personal training a lot, is people are like, oh, I lost 10 pounds. I rewarded myself with an ice cream cake. Well, then that you gain the 10 pounds back. But maybe like reward yourself with a cupcake. If that's what really, like, if that's what you love and you're like, I took out sugar because I know it's not healthy for me and I'm trying to lose all this weight. I lost 10 pounds. I'm going to have a cupcake. But not, I lost 10 pounds. I'm going to eat an ice cream cake. Mm-hmm. So kind of like keep it in perspective, but I love rewards. For me, rewards like that don't work very well because in the past, and I'm better at it now. I don't do it as much, but in the past, if I want something, I just get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm not good with the reward system. I'm more like what Wendy and I talked about at the beginning is a reward for me is the end result that I believe is making my life better. Mm-hmm. And so exactly. if you have that in whatever area of life you're trying to improve on, if you can come up with a reward that it could be a tangible physical reward, or it could be just a feeling. Like my biggest reward for being who I am and doing all the things I do in life is to just have peace of mind and a calm feeling. Mm-hmm. So if I know that if I get the laundry done and the dishes done, I'm going to be less stressed tonight. That is motivation for me, even though I'm like you, I'm like Wendy. I don't like any form of housework at all. So the one that I thought of that, again, it's not really motivating for me. A little bit, but not a lot. But for my athletes I coach, this one is huge. Doing it with a friend. So if you have a task that is daunting or hard or you don't want to do, dragging somebody along with you could be a really good way to make that more fun and more exciting. I like to do a lot of things alone. So again, like my reward is being by myself. My reward is getting to go to the gym for 3 hours by myself. But a lot of the athletes I coach, they love doing things with people. They love going to masters because they're with a group of people. They love going on bike rides with their friends. They like group runs, group activities. And this could be for working out. This could be
He'll
for
be back. That's
any
okay.
area in your life that you feel that is a struggle. Is recruit a friend to help you out and to do it with you.
Thanks, you too.
So
I agree because a lot of I'm a solo act. I like to have the camaraderie of friends. I do have 2 friends. I have one friend that I run with on Tuesday and one friend that I hike or bike with on Thursdays. And that's great. But for the most part, I'm fine doing everything else on my own. But when you find someone the same pace or the same goals, and a lot of it is, sure, we're running our own effort on the same hill, but we're there together. We're there to hold each other accountable. And then, we get a little social time in as well. So again, it's that multitasking. You're getting your workout done at the same time you're getting some social time done. So I think a lot of people really, more than probably us, benefit from doing the hard thing. And it's hard to not keep talking about sport as being the hard thing that you're doing, but it's definitely helpful to have that accountability partner.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be somebody right there with you, because I have somebody. So my ex-husband, we were texting like a few months ago, and because he sent me our old house in Fort Collins that we bought when we first got married. We bought it for $100,000. And he sent me the Zillow. It's worth like $500,000 now.
Mm-hmm.
This little teeny tiny house in Old Town Fort Collins. Like, it was like a 600 square foot house. And it's worth $500,000 now. And when we bought it, it was $1,000. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he had sent me that, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm back on the Dave Ramsey thing, because him and I, when we were married, we went crazy one year and paid off like over $100,000 in debt. And we went crazy. And so I go, yeah, I'm back on Dave Ramsey. I'm doing this. And I was like, I've been listening 2 hours a day. And so he messaged back, and like a couple days later, and he was like, oh man, I started listening and now you got me hooked back on Dave Ramsey. And then he's like, what baby step are you on? And I was like, oh, this is what I'm working on. So we've been kind of like every week, few days, oh, hey, I did this. Like, he told me, there's this thing I used to do when we were married and when we were paying off debt. My goal was to pay money on the credit card every single day. And so even if it was like $1, like I think I did it for like a year. Every single day I put something on the credit card. So if I didn't have any extra money, I had to like sell something or go like find money or do something so that I had $1 or $5 to put toward my credit card debt. And so he said he started doing that. He was like, I'm doing that thing you did where you just pay something every day. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I actually completely forgot about it until he mentioned it. But so that it's making it fun for me to have somebody on my same path, even though we don't see each other. But so it doesn't have to be do this with a friend that you see every day. This could be somebody that you text every day. How many push-ups did you do today? I did 10. Me too. Oh my gosh, I'm so sore. So that and it could be a relationship. I remember when I was leaving my relationship with my daughter's dad, I had a friend, and she would message me every day, and she was like, what are you doing today to take care of yourself? Because I was really struggling with all sorts of things. That's a whole 12 other podcasts. But so I would say, oh, here are the things. And she would message me every day. So I had this accountability person who was helping me get through something that was really hard. And it was easier and more fun because I had a partner in crime kind of walking with me. So it could be money. It could be relationships. It could be workout. It could be drinking water. Oh, I just drank a bottle of water. Yay. Thanks for the reminder. I'm going to go drink my bottle of water.
Right.
So yeah, friends.
As we were talking, 2 things come to mind that has been hard in my life. Quitting student teaching. I student taught for about 2 weeks and I had to quit. That was probably that's probably to this day was the hardest thing I ever had to do, was to call that supervisor teacher and tell her I was quitting. Because, like, just thought of quitting something back in the day was daunting. Like, I don't quit anything. So I quit student teaching, and was it fun? It was hard. Was it fun? It wasn't. There was nothing fun about that, but the sense of relief I got when I was done, and the thought process of knowing the future of being a math teacher was horrific than the future of the unknown. Because again, I didn't know what I was going to do. I wasn't in grad school yet. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew I had to quit student teaching. I just knew this is not the career path for me. It was the wrong choice. I changed my mind. No big deal. So again, a lot of it is just the mindset, the mind games that you're playing with yourself. Having fun is a mindset and a mind game. Your idea of fun is not the same as my idea of fun, and that's okay. So it's doing what's right for you and what's fun for you that's most important, and again, for me, challenges are really fun for me. And so when I, turn everything, twist it to make it a challenge, like when I broke my knee, it became a challenge to say, I'm not going to let this knee thing prevent me from ever running again, or it's not going to beat me up. It's temporary, yada, yada, yada. That's kind of how you get through the difficult times, is to change your mindset and make it fun, knowing things are temporary.
Yeah. And then the last thing I thought of that Wendy and I both think are really fun, so this might be an idea for you if in any area of your life you're struggling, is to do a streak. And I don't know why a streak is so fun for me. I think just like seeing, like, it's a challenge to do something every single day. I don't care what it is. It could be drinking a glass of water. Everyone can drink water, and water is free, and you can drink water anytime. So you can't be like, oh, I don't have time to drink water. But seeing myself doing it day after day after day after day is really rewarding and fun. So I think starting a streak, and that's what I always recommend to people who struggle with something that is simple, like 1,000 steps a day. Unless you're like bedridden, most people could take 1,000 steps a day. Mm-hmm. So if you start with that as a streak and watch your streak grow, and I think a lot of companies have caught on to the streak thing, because like I just got the Duolingo app because I want to learn Spanish. I haven't, I've done one. My streak was 1 day, and that was like 2 weeks ago. But they have a thing. How long, what's your streak goal? So like, and I know there's fitness, my Whoop app, like there's a little flame on top. It's like, you're on day 257 of your streak of, wearing your Whoop. So I think a lot of the companies have caught on to, I think they stole it from us because Wendy and I have been doing streaks for as long as we've known each other. But we think streaks are really fun, and you get to choose what streak works with your time and gets you to your goal. I've done fruits and vegetable streaks. I've done water streaks. I've done running streaks. I've done bike streaks to get more comfortable on the bike. I've done walking my dog a mile a day streak because I wanted to give my dogs more attention. You could make out with your partner streak. You can, there's any area of your life, the putting money on paying off the credit card, $1 a day or whatever. Those are all streaks. So to me, a streak is a really fun way, and we can come up with any category in life and figure out a streak for it.
Right. Again, it goes back to the reward system. We feel rewarded accomplishing our goal or our streak. The money thing, if you put a penny in a jar, 365 days, you're going to have 365 extra dollars. That's a lot of money.
Right.
So if you're someone who wants to save money for something, do the penny in a jar, a nickel in a jar, a dime in a jar, a quarter in a jar, a dollar in a jar, whatever you want to do every single day for 365 days. And all of a sudden you can come up with the money that you don't have right now. By the end of the year, you could come up with that money for the thing that you want. And that makes it fun. I think it all goes back to the reward, the challenge, the accomplishment, the feeling that we know we get because we've been endurance athletes our whole lives. We know that feeling. Maybe not everyone knows that feeling of accomplishing a goal or accomplishing a hard thing yet, but you got to give yourself permission to do it.
Yeah. And one of the things, this is the last thing I want to talk about. And then if you wanted any closing things, when I was buying this car, again, oh, and by the way, there's a bumper sticker on this car. Hold on. I have to look so I don't screw it up. This is my car I'm now driving. There's a bumper sticker that says, warning, this vehicle makes frequent stops at your mom's house. I'm like, oh God, this is already on my car. And I didn't even notice it when I bought it because I didn't care about what it looked on the outside. I was just making sure mechanically it'll work for me. And it did. It's a 2008 and it only has 110,000 miles on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's insane because my car that I had was a 2022 and it had 85,000 miles on it. So it's crazy low miles, which is great. But yeah, so I just noticed that bumper sticker after I got home. I was like, oh, there's some bumper stickers on the back. And I looked, I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's fun.
It makes me want to keep it on just because. But what I was thinking is, and it kind of goes along with reframing the mindset, making it fun, I was like, you know what? My new identity is driving an old car. I'm just like, that's what I'm making it. Like I used to like drive and I've never been like the kind of person who looks at someone else and is like, oh wow, they have a really nice car. Like I'm not a car person at all. I want something reliable, but in my mind, I just thought that new cars or newer cars are the only reliable cars.
Mm-hmm. But
that's not true at all because there's cars that run to 200, 300,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought of that yesterday. I was like, you know what? I am just reframing this, that my new identity, my new who I am is old cars.
Yeah.
I mean, my bike is 12 years old. My bike I race with, it's a 2014. I don't have new anything. So I don't know why the whole car thing was it shocked me. But anyway, so now I'm an old car girl now. I'm just going to drive old cars for the rest of my life.
Love it. So again, just highlighting the word reframing, mindset.
Yeah.
It always, everything we talk about goes back to reframing and mindset.
I know. Maybe we'll change the podcast calling like reframing. No, I like our title. What are you most excited for this week?
I have a marathon coming up.
Oh,
I'm doing the Hellenbeck Marathon. So that's exciting. Again, sport related. It's more of just, a long supported run. I signed up for it. It's in Helen, Georgia. So that's exciting for me. Again, in preparation for my 50K in May. And then, what else? It's Don's going to be home this weekend. I'm going to be home this weekend, just a week, having a weekend at home together and he's doing my marathon with me. So that's exciting.
Oh, nice. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I am getting right when we get done doing this, I'm heading to the the dealership that I'm selling my old car to.
Yeah.
And then everything will be done. So I'm heading there, giving them my car. I've already cleaned everything out, taken out the car seat. So I'll be heading there, giving them my car. They're going to write me a check. I'm going to put it in the bank. I'm going to pay off what I just spent on this car. And then after that, I will have all my debt paid and my emergency fund.
Fantastic.
From this change. So it's really exciting to me. And just to get it all done with, because right now I have 2 cars sitting in the parking lot and I'm like, I don't want to look at my old car and then my new car. And so it's going to be a done deal in about 2 hours.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you. All right, you guys, we appreciate all of your questions. We didn't get to a listener question. I had one, but let's save it for next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should do an Ask Us Anything again because I feel like there's just always more and more questions.
Yeah, that sounds good. I probably have 3 or 4.
Okay, perfect. So we'll get to your guys' question. If you guys think of anything, let us know. You know how to get a hold of us. If not, just comment here on the podcast and we check the comments and we'll get those questions answered. And as always, Wendy, it was such a pleasure seeing your
you did great.
I know. Woo woo. All right, you guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Make it a great day.
Thanks for being here. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten.
If you want to learn more about us or anything we talked about today, check out the links in our show notes.
We would love to know what you think of our podcast and what you want more of. So drop us a comment, send us a message, and help us out by leaving us a rating and a review.
And don't forget to let us know your wellness win for this week.
Thanks for listening.
Make it a great day.